Welcome to our workshop for today. Today is day one of the workshop, and in this workshop, we will be discussing the following psychotherapies: psychoanalysis, behavior therapy, cognitive, humanistic, play therapy, client centered, telephone therapy, and anti expectation therapy. In today's lecture, we will be discussing only psychoanalysis, the Freud's method. So psychoanalysis was founded by Sigmund Freud, which is also called father of psychoanalysis and sometimes also called father of modern psychology. He gave the concept of ego, and superego, and conscious, preconscious, and unconscious. The unconscious was actually not discovered by him, but it was already discovered before him. Now, the purpose of psychoanalysis is to make the unconscious conscious. Whatever is in the unconscious, we try to make it conscious, and we try to strengthen the ego so that the behavior is more reality based and less instinctual. Uh, this is the purpose of psychoanalysis. So, the most important thing in psychoanalysis is the developmental stages that Freud gave. Uh, and in one of these stages, if a person does not have normal development, then it can get fixated in one of these stages, which can result in disorders. And according to Freud, most of the development is complete by age 6. So the first stage of development is oral stage, which is from birth to 1.5 years, 1.5 years. Uh, in this, a person takes sexual pleasure from with the mouth, and the erogenous zone is the mouth during the oral stage. He takes pleasure by sucking and putting everything in the mouth, and that's how it takes the uh, pleasure during the oral stage. The second stage is the anal stage for from 1.5 years, 1.5 years to 3 years. During this time, the person takes pleasure from creating excrements, holding urine. Uh, so the toilet training is really important during the anal stage. If a person does not have a good toilet training during this time, it can get anal fixated, which can later result in disorders. Uh, and now we come to the phallic stage, which is from 3 to 6 years. In this stage, a person goes through either Oedipus complex or Electra complex, according to Freud. Uh, if let's say Oedipus complex is when a male boy feels more attracted towards his mother, and he thinks that his father is his rival. Uh, and in Electra complex, a person thinks that female girl thinks that uh, she gets attracted towards her father, and she thinks that her mother is a rival. Uh, and in this stage, a person during phallic stage, a boy even feels castration anxiety that his father will cut his private organs. And then we come to the latent stage during which a person goes to school, does his homework, etc., etc., and gets good at school. Most of his sexual energy gets directed towards performing good at school. Um, and play activities. And then we come to the final stage, which is the genital stage, 12 to adulthood. In this stage, if a person's parents had given him love and warmth and helped him to get through these stages, then he can have a good, healthy life in the genital stage. But according to Freud, rarely does anybody ever goes through these stages completely healthy. Uh, Now, the Freud gave the concept of id. Id is basically it is a basic instinct uh, that is present from the birth. It wants to satisfy all of its desire regardless of the consequences from the society. It works on the pleasure principle. It always tries to seek the pleasure and tries to avoid the pain. Uh, like for example, if you are thirsty and you're sitting at a restaurant and you're thirsty and your glass is empty, glass of water is empty, but quickly you take the water from your family member and you start drinking it, and the family members get surprised that you didn't wait for the waiter to come and give you more water. Instead, you took it quickly from your other family member. This is what it does. It just wants to fulfill its desires, regardless of its consequences. Uh, Now we come to the ego. Uh, it works on the reality principle. It develops during 2 to 3 years of age. Uh, it it actually it actually tries to control the desires of the id, and tries to fulfill those desires in a more socially acceptable way. Uh, like for example, if in the same table you are sitting and you don't have water, but you will try to control your desire to take the water from your other family member, and wait for the waiter to come and give you a glass of water. This is what the ego does. It tries to control the desires of the id, uh, so that they are fulfilled in a more socially acceptable way. Now we come to the superego, which works on the moral principle. Uh, it it tries to make us behave in a way that is more socially responsible and acceptable, according to the moral standards of the society. Uh, for example, if you go to a perfume shop and you have a lot of perfume in front of you, and you know that you can steal a perfume, uh, and nobody is watching you, and you're alone in the shop, and you think that you can steal the perfume, but you still try to not steal it because stealing is wrong. In this case, this is what superego does. This is it tries to make you behave in a more acceptable way, which is according to the norms of the society, moral standards of the society. Now Freud gave these defense mechanisms, um, which a person uses, and the main thing about these defense mechanisms is that they are a person is using them unconsciously, meaning that a person is not aware that he is using these uh, defense mechanism. So Freud gives these defense mechanism in which one is denial, refusing to accept the reality. Whatever event has happened, a person refuses that it happened at all. Sublimation. Now the each tries to channel his unacceptable impulses into more acceptable impulses. Like for example, if he's angry at something, he will go to the gym and start beating the punching bag. That is an example of sublimation. Reaction formation. Uh, in reaction formation, a person reacts opposite to the way his actual true feelings are. According to Freud, if a person is homosexual, um, but he tries to act in front of everyone as if he hates homosexuality. He always gets angry at homosexual people. In reality, he is trying to hide his own homosexual impulses. Uh, and now repression. Repression is the pushing of the memories into the unconscious. Uh, Past memories that are very painful, a person pushes them into the unconscious, does not try to remember them. That is repression. Projection. A projection is when we try to project our own selves onto the others, our own selves or our own feelings towards another person. For example, a person who might be cheating in exams constantly, instead try to blame everyone else for cheating when he's cheating himself during the exams. Displacement of feeling. Displacement is the displacement of feelings towards another weak person. For example, if a person was insulted by his boss in the work environment, he comes home and start beating his child. He's just displacing his feelings from his boss to another to a child, which is a weak person which cannot fight back. Regression. Regression is when we try go back to the past, go back to our time in the past when we were secure with the parents, or when we were secure during our childhood. That is a regression. Identification with the aggressor. Sometimes a person is tortured or abused. He start adopting the characteristic of his aggressor. This is identification with aggressor. Now, the techniques that are used in psychoanalysis: maintaining analytic framework, free association, interpretation, dream analysis, analysis of resistance, and analysis of transference. Now, maintaining analytic framework, it involves that the person, the analyst, maintains his anonymity, that he remains anonymous. He does not discuss his own problems, his own family matters with the clients. This is remaining anonymous. He tries to remain anonymous during the sessions with the clients, and there are regular and consistent meetings, and starting and ending times are the same. Let's say, for example, a 45-minute session. He takes 45-minute session, does not increase it, does not reduce it. uh, this in itself is therapeutic, uh, and our analyst tries to minimize his departure from this. He does not want to change it. He tries not to change it. Free association, in this is one of the most important techniques in it, in psychoanalysis. In it a person is asked to lay down on a couch, and this analyst lays on a sits on a chair behind the head of the client, and he gives him a word like father, house, mother, etc. And he asks the client to speak whatever comes to his mind without any hesitation, without any blocking, uh, no matter how shameful the thought might be. Just keep speaking. This is what free association is. And during this free association, we look for slips of tongue, humor, satire. We try to uncover whatever the unconscious meaning behind these might be. Interpretation. Uh, it is to interpret the meaning, hidden meaning in the client's words, like Freudian slips, client satires, humors, etc. And we look for themes, and we try to interpret those themes. Through interpretation, we try to look what is in the unconscious of the patient. Uh, it should always start from the surface, and only go as far as the client is willing to go. Uh, and the resistance should be interpreted first, and then the emotions. The resistance should be interpreted and communicated to the client first, and then we should go to the emotions. We should always start from the surface and then go to the bottom. Analysis of resistance is it is uh, any attitude, feeling, or idea that is a hurdle in the way of change. That is resistance. If a person, uh, it can be conscious or unconscious. A person might be consciously trying to resist it, or maybe it can be unconscious using the defense mechanisms. Uh, so the analyst job is to help the client see that this resistance is not helpful, uh, and try to encourage the client to keep speaking instead of trying to resist them, the ideas from speaking, resist speaking whatever coming to his mind. Instead of doing that, the analyst tries to encourage the client to speak. Dream analysis. This is, according to Freud, the royal road to unconscious. It has a latent and the manifest content. Um, It shows the repressed desires, conflicts, whatever is in the mind, unconscious. Uh, and Freud had used simple symbols to interpret the meaning of the dreams. When we let go of the actions that are being performed in the dream, we only look at the symbols. Then we try to this is through this we determine what is the meaning of those dreams. Analysis of transference, it is the transfer of feelings. Of a person has a feeling like, let's say, love or hatred towards a person that was significant during a client's past. Like if a person is muscular, that and a person and a client had a feeling of hatred towards that person, then in the therapy session the client will transfer those feelings. If a therapist is also muscular, then he will transfer those feelings to the therapist and try to act with the therapist as if the therapist was another person with that person from his past. So this is transference, and this is one of the most important techniques, and this is interpreted in the therapy by the analyst and is communicated to the client. Thank you. This is the end of the workshop. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.